So the reason I go over so much of things about emotions is because you have to change who you are as a person before you can activate all that potential, before you can start spotting. So there's this thing called internal emotional architecture, or IEA, and it's the blueprint of what your inner world's really like. Every person carries an inner world that's far more structured than it appears. So behavior doesn't emerge from nowhere, yet underneath is the hidden architecture, like a layered internal system that organizes how you feel, how you're going to react to things, how you perceive and interpret your own life, because you're constantly assessing. So it's the structure of the emotional universe inside you. Just as physical architecture determines how a building stands and moves and rebuilds, your internal architecture determines how your emotional energy flows, how those thoughts form that we've been over, and how your patterns stabilize, how your identity then emerges, and how your behavior is repeated. So you understand a bit through this series so far about learning that, so you now know how change becomes possible. And understanding it's fundamental to every chapter that follows in this course and in the books that I've got, because subconscious navigation works inside this architecture. So, at the base of IEA lies the emotional potential, the unprocessed emotional charge which is stored in your memory. So, these are your childhood patterns, your identity wounds, your lived experiences, and your suppressed reactions. Next is emotional flow, the movement through those internal pathways, which is emotional energy. It's never static, it's always moving through the pathways like rivers. And they obviously form during childhood and as you're growing up and during emotional events. And because the subconscious favours efficiency, it continues to use the same routes long after the original experiences have passed. That's why you get stuck in the patterns. And it explains how the emotional pathways are still active today that you need to deal with, even in life situations once they're long gone. That's why we use subconscious navigation to clear suppressed emotions. Even though the potential energy has been spent, and that's what you need to get to grips with, is what potential energy has been spent in your life and what potential energy is there ready to spend. And that is how you should do your shopping with your emotions to change your life. That's the reality. So I'll see you in part 9.